The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has the potential to escalate into a wider regional war, with far-reaching implications for global geopolitics. As tensions rise and the international community becomes increasingly polarized, the Brics alliance and its allies may find opportunities to strengthen their position on the world stage. This widening conflict could potentially benefit Brics nations in several ways, reshaping global power dynamics and challenging the existing international order. The Brics alliance, originally consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has recently expanded to include Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE. This expansion has significantly increased the group's economic and political clout, positioning it as a formidable counterweight to Western-dominated institutions. As the conflict in the Middle East intensifies, Brics nations may leverage the situation to advance their collective interests and reshape the global balance of power. The escalating tensions between Israel and Hezbollah along the Lebanese border have raised fears of a full-scale war reminiscent of the 2006 conflict. Simultaneously, Israel has intensified its strikes in Syria, targeting Iranian assets and commanders, marking a significant shift in its strategy. The conflict has also drawn in Yemen, with Israel reportedly striking Houthi-controlled areas in response to attacks on international shipping. This multi-front engagement has heightened concerns of a broader regional war, potentially involving Iran and its proxies across the Middle East. As the situation becomes increasingly volatile, the risk of a wider conflagration grows, presenting both challenges and opportunities for global powers seeking to reshape the international order. One of the primary ways in which Brics could benefit from a widening war with Israel is through increased economic cooperation and trade among member states. As Western nations impose sanctions and restrict trade with countries involved in the conflict, Brics members may step in to fill the void. This could lead to the strengthening of alternative trade routes and financial systems, reducing dependence on Western-controlled institutions. The New Development Bank, NDB, established by Brics in 2014, could play a crucial role in this scenario. As traditional sources of funding become limited for countries affected by the conflict, the NDB could provide an alternative source of financing for infrastructure projects and economic development. This would not only strengthen the economic ties between Brics nations but also extend their influence to other developing countries seeking financial support. Furthermore, a widening conflict could accelerate efforts to reduce reliance on the US dollar in international trade. Brics nations have long advocated for de-dollarization, and a prolonged conflict could provide the impetus needed to establish alternative currency arrangements. While the creation of a common Brics currency remains unlikely due to economic disparities among member states, the group could explore other options such as increased use of local currencies in bilateral trade or the development of a new international trade payment system. The geopolitical implications of a widening war with Israel could also work in favor of Brics nations, particularly Russia and China. Both countries have been seeking to expand their influence in the Middle East and challenge US hegemony in the region. A protracted conflict could provide opportunities for these powers to position themselves as mediators or peacekeepers, enhancing their diplomatic standing and influence. For Russia, which is currently facing international isolation due to its actions in Ukraine, the conflict could offer a chance to reassert its role on the global stage. By aligning itself with Arab nations and potentially offering military or diplomatic support, Russia could strengthen its position within Brics and challenge Western narratives. China, as the economic powerhouse of Brics, stands to gain significantly from a widening conflict. As Western nations become increasingly entangled in Middle Eastern affairs, China could further advance its Belt and Road Initiative and expand its economic influence across Africa and Asia. Additionally, China's calls for a multipolar world order may gain more traction as the limitations of US-led interventions become apparent. The inclusion of Iran and Saudi Arabia in Brics adds another layer of complexity to the situation. These regional rivals, now part of the same alliance, may find common ground in opposing Western intervention in the Middle East. Their membership in Brics could facilitate dialogue and potentially lead to a reduction in regional tensions, allowing the alliance to present itself as a stabilizing force in contrast to Western powers. Egypt's role in Brics becomes particularly significant in the context of a widening conflict with Israel. As a key player in the region and the largest Arab country, Egypt's diplomatic efforts could be crucial in any peace negotiations. Its membership in Brics provides the alliance with a strong voice in Middle Eastern affairs and could help bridge divides between different factions. The United Arab Emirates, another new Brics member, may also play a pivotal role. As a country that has normalized relations with Israel through the Abraham Accords, the UAE could serve as a valuable intermediary between conflicting parties. This position could enhance Brics' diplomatic influence and demonstrate its ability to navigate complex regional dynamics. Ethiopia's inclusion in Brics adds an African dimension to the alliance's potential role in a widening conflict. As host to the African Union headquarters, Ethiopia could help mobilize African support for Brics-led initiatives in the Middle East. This could further challenge Western dominance in international affairs and promote a more diverse range of voices in global decision-making processes. The humanitarian crisis resulting from a widening war could also provide Brics with opportunities to demonstrate its commitment to global development and peacekeeping. By coordinating aid efforts and proposing peace initiatives, Brics could position itself as a responsible global actor, potentially gaining support from other developing nations disillusioned with Western-led interventions. However, it is important to note that Brics is not a monolithic entity, and its members often have diverging interests and priorities. India, for example, has strong ties with both Israel and Western nations, which could complicate its position within Brics in the event of a widening conflict. Similarly, Brazil has expressed reservations about framing Brics as an anti-Western bloc, preferring to focus on economic cooperation rather than geopolitical confrontation. Despite these challenges, a widening war with Israel could ultimately serve to strengthen Brics' internal cohesion. Faced with a common external challenge, member states may be more inclined to set aside their differences and work towards shared goals. This could lead to more coordinated policies and a stronger collective voice on the international stage. The conflict could also accelerate Brics' efforts to reform global governance structures. The group has long called for greater representation of developing countries in international institutions such as the United Nations Security Council, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. A prolonged conflict that exposes the limitations of these institutions could bolster Brics' arguments for reform and potentially lead to changes in the global institutional architecture. Moreover, a widening war could provide Brics with opportunities to showcase alternative approaches to conflict resolution and peacekeeping. By emphasizing dialogue, multilateralism, and respect for national sovereignty, Brics could present itself as a more balanced and inclusive alternative to Western-led interventions. This approach could resonate with many countries in the Global South, potentially expanding Brics' sphere of influence. The economic impact of a prolonged conflict could also work in Brics' favor. As Western economies grapple with the costs of military intervention and potential disruptions to oil supplies, Brics nations may be better positioned to weather the storm. Their diverse economies and growing internal markets could provide a degree of resilience, potentially accelerating the shift in global economic power towards emerging markets. A widening war with Israel would undoubtedly have devastating humanitarian consequences. It could potentially benefit Brics and its allies in several ways. By challenging the existing international order, strengthening economic cooperation among member states, and presenting alternative approaches to global governance and conflict resolution, Brics could emerge from such a crisis with enhanced geopolitical influence and economic power. However, it is crucial to recognize that the benefits of conflict are always outweighed by its human costs. The true measure of Brics' success will lie not in how it capitalizes on conflict, but in how it contributes to lasting peace and stability in the region and beyond. As the alliance continues to evolve and expand, its ability to navigate complex global challenges while promoting sustainable development and cooperation will determine its long-term impact on the world stage. Thanks for watching this analysis of how a widening Middle East conflict could impact global power dynamics. If you found this information valuable, Please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated on geopolitical developments. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think BRICS nations might respond to an escalating crisis? Don't forget to click the notification bell to catch our future in-depth coverage of international affairs and shifting alliances. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you critical insights into world events.